guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet the peekaboo scarf. It is one of my most popular patterns. You can see on one side there is a striped effect here with some texture in between. Now for this particular scarf, you work it in one direction during parts of it, so on the back side it is not the same. You do not have the striping, so it is kind of a one-sided pattern. But this is one of my most popular patterns on my website, so I'm excited to create a video tutorial for you on it today. What you will need is about 435 yards of size 4 medium weight yarn. I used Caron Simply Soft in Country Blue for my sample. To show you the stitches today, I'll be using the same yarn in a red. You will also need an I 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, some scissors, and a yarn needle. Now, as I show you today, I'm going to work a smaller sample. My full sample is about 64 inches long, so keep that in mind when you choose how much yarn you're going to use. What you need will depend on how long you want your scarf. I really like very long scarves, so usually over 5 feet, but if you don't want it that long, you can adjust it quite easily. So to get started, we're going to create a slip knot, attach our yarn. Now we're going to start out with foundation half double crochets, and I'm going to only do a few of them since this is going to be a sample piece. On the original project I did 250 to create the really long scarf. Again, you can do as many as you like. I would just do as many foundation half double crochets as it takes to get the length that you like. All you need to do is make sure it ends with an even number. So to start our foundation half double crochets, we're going to chain 2, and in the first loop we're going to yarn over and insert our hook, yarn over and pull through. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through just one, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook. Now we're going to do that again, and when we insert our hook, we're going to go into the chain here that we created. You will see a little V on top, 2 pieces of yarn there. So you're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert your hook into the 2 loops here. The first one of the row is always the hardest to grab. Here we go. Yarn over and pull through your stitch, yarn over and pull through just one, and this is what's creating our foundation chain. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on our hook. So now we have 2 foundation half double crochets. We're going to keep going with this. So you're going to yarn over, and in this stitch here that we've created, the V, you can see 2 loops there. You're going to stick your hook through there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through all 3. So what we're doing is we're creating our foundation chain, beginning chain, at the same time as our first row of half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, insert into these stitches here, the V, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through all 3. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into this V, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through all 3. So we're just going to keep going with this method until we have as many stitches as you want. This is going to be the length of your scarf, so you want to just make this row as long as you want your scarf to be, and just make sure you end with a total number of stitches that is an even number. So go ahead and finish out your row and meet me back here. Okay, so now when you get to the end of your row, don't worry if your foundation row is a little bit curved, because that'll straighten out as we come back and go on to our second row. Remember, I'm just doing a sample size, so mine is going to be a lot smaller than yours. But we're going to do something a little strange for a crochet project. We're not going to turn, but we're actually going to finish off this row. And then we're going to turn it. So this is the top. This is where we just finished off. Here's where we started. And instead of working from where we ended up and going back, we're going to hop back over to the very first stitch of our foundation row. And we are going to attach our yarn again in this first stitch. Now the purpose of this is that to create the particular rows that we're trying to get, this technique here, where our rows look like V's, you have to crochet in the third loop of your stitch, and it only looks quite like that when moving in one direction. So once your yarn is on there, you're going to chain one, and then we're going to crochet across 1/2 double crochet in each stitch. But instead of putting our hook through the top of our stitches, this little V here on top, we're going to look behind that. We're going to find our third loop, which is this little loop hanging out right behind. So I'm not going to go through it yet because I haven't yarned over it, but just showing you where it is. So if you have your two V's, right behind it is a loop that goes in the same direction directly behind. So I'm going to yarn over and insert into that third loop, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through all three for a 1/2 double crochet. And we're going to do, and you can see it leaves that V, instead of crocheting into it, we've pushed it forward. So it's going to lean towards the front of our project. So we're going to do that again in the next stitch. Yarn over, look for that third loop, go through there, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through all three. Again, yarn over, look for that third loop, finish off your 1/2 double crochet. And we're just going to do this all the way across for row 2. Now when you get to the end of row 2, make sure and count your stitches, make sure you have the same number, because it's kind of a little bit tricky to make sure you got in that very last stitch. And we're going to do exactly what we did on our last row, and we're going to finish off and go back to the beginning. So things are not going to be looking real pretty on this end or on this end, but we are not going to worry about it because we can just cover that up with fringe at the end. And we're just making that sacrifice so that we can get the look that we are going for in this project. So we're going to go back again like we did last time to the beginning, our first stitch, and reattach our yarn. And chain one. And we're going to do this row exactly like the last one. We're going to yarn over, look for that third loop. It's the trickiest to find on the first one. It's hiding back there. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through all three. Again, yarn over, look for that third loop, the back of the stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through all three. And we're going to continue this row just like the last one, and meet me back here when you are done. All right, I'm getting to the end of row 3, and I'm going to go ahead and show you, just in case you're having a hard time finding that last stitch. So I'm almost to the last stitch, but it kind of feels like I'm on my last stitch. Here's my third loop for second to last. And then that last stitch is really loose because it's where we finished off, but there is a third loop hiding there. So if you kind of tug on the tail, it's going to help you see the structure of that stitch a little better if it's loosened up for you. So here's my V, and right behind it there is my third loop. So there we go. And we're going to finish off this row as well, just like the previous ones, and move back to the start of our row and attach our yarn. Find that first stitch, now for this row we're going to be using different stitch pattern, but we are still going to crochet in the third loop because we still want to have one more row of the the V's on our stitches leaning forwards toward this. So we are going to chain 2 this time, and we're going to double crochet instead of half double crochet in this stitch in the third loop. So yarn over, look behind our stitch for that third loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now in our next stitch we're going to continue in the third loop, but this time just a single crochet. So look for that third loop, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. We're going to repeat this alternating stitch pattern across. Double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. So next I'm going to do a double crochet, yarn over, find the third loop, insert and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Next is a single crochet into the third loop. Next is a double crochet. And we're just going to continue this alternating pattern across this row. And now when you get to the end, this time do not finish off. We're going to be able to go back and forth for a few rows and give us a break from finishing off and starting over. So that's good news. So meet me back here after you finish this row. Okay, so we've made it to the end of row 4, and this time we are not going to finish it off, but we're going to actually chain and turn. So you're going to chain 2, and this will begin our section of stitches in between those kind of long lines. So you're going to turn, and you're going to do the same thing as the last row, except we're not crocheting in the third loop anymore. You can just crochet in the 2 loops at the top of your last stitch, that V that we usually crochet into. So you're going to do a double crochet here, yarn over, insert your hook into the very same stitch that you just chained out of, both loops, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 for 1 double crochet. Now, same as the last row, we're going to do a single crochet in that next stitch. Our next stitch, go through both loops of that V, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through both loops. All right, next is a double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Next is a single crochet, next is a double. We're going to continue this pattern across, and you might notice that as you're going, you are alternating the size of your stitches from what you had in the previous row. So when you do a single crochet in this row, it's actually getting stitched into the double crochet of the previous row and vice versa. Your double crochets will be crocheted into the top of the previous row's single crochet, and that is what creates the neat texture that you see in these rows. So finish out this row and meet me back here. All right, so that finishes out row 5. We currently have the wrong side of our work facing us, and we are going to do the exact same thing as our last row for row 6. So you're going to chain 2, turn, and double crochet in the same stitch that you chained out of. Single crochet in the next, double crochet in the next. Single crochet, double crochet. So we're going to finish out this row in this manner, and then when you finish this row, go ahead and do one more in the same manner, and that will get you through row 6 and row 7, and meet me back here. So once you have completed row 6 and 7 in the same manner with double crochet, single crochet, alternating stitches, we are going to move on to row 8. Here's the end of row 7, and we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do the next row, row 8, in slightly the same manner but a little bit different in order to create a third loop for our next row to be able to stitch into, because we're going to be going back to creating some lines. So instead of double crochet, single crochet in row 8, we're going to do double crochet, half double crochet. So you're going to double crochet in the first stitch and half double crochet in the next. Yarn over, insert your hook through both loops, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3. Next is a double crochet, next is half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet. And this will create enough of the same texture to look the same, not stand out as something different, but to create the loops we need for our next row of stitches. So when you get to the end of this row, you are actually going to finish off again, because we're going back to creating our lined rows here. So finish off this row 8 and meet me back here. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 8 here. I'm going to finish off. and go back to the start of row 8 and attach my yarn to the first stitch. Going to chain 1. And now we're going to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, just like we did in these rows down here. It'll be slightly different. We're going to do it in the 3rd loop of our stitches again. It'll be a little different because we're working with not just half double crochets, but also double crochets. The double crochet does have a 3rd loop, just maybe it's slanted a little bit to the left, but we can still find it. So for the first one here, I'm going to yarn over and look behind my stitch. For that 3rd loop, it's a little bit slanted at the left side. Yarn over and pull through 2. Oh wait, we're doing half double crochet here. So we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 for half double crochet. Do the same in the next. Yarn over, look for the 3rd loop. You can see it right here. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Again, yarn over. You can see that 3rd loop is there, but it's not straight across like on the half double crochet. It's slightly tucked over to the side of our stitch. But we're gonna get in there, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through both. A little easier into the half double crochet. Again, into that double crochet. The 3rd loop is a little bit to the side there. We're going to go through, yarn over and pull through all 3. We're going to do this all the way across. You can see that we're still getting that lined effect of those V's popping forward, even though that 3rd loop is a little different for this row. All right, so now that we've reached the end of row 9 with our half double crochets, we're going to finish off again. And we are going to do the same thing we did with our first rows for row 10 and 11. So for the next 2 rows, we're going to attach and half double crochet in the 3rd loop only, all the way across, finish off, come back and do it again. So for the next 2 rows, we're going to repeat this process. Okay, now that we've reached the end of row 11, we're going to finish off just like we did at the end down here. We're going to start to do a repeat of this section here of our double crochets and single crochets. We're going to finish off, and we're going to reattach at the beginning of that row. And we're going to chain 2. And remember, for this first row where we switch our stitch pattern here, we're going to continue to double crochet in, or continue to crochet in our 3rd loop. So the first stitch is a double crochet into the 3rd loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then a single crochet in the 3rd loop, double crochet, single crochet. And we're going to finish out this row. All right, now as we get to the end of this row, we do not finish off. This time we get to go back and forth for a little bit again. So you're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're going to continue to double crochet, single crochet in each stitch across. And then we're going to turn at the end of the row and do one more row in that same way. So for the next 2 rows, you're going to double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. So I want you to repeat, finish out this row in this stitch pattern and do the next, and then come back here. Okay, so you have come back and forth on those last 2 rows. I'm going to have you do one more row like that to get the same distance here in between. So we're going to chain 2, do the double crochet and single crochet across. Okay, so you should currently have the back of your project facing you as you finish that last row. You're going to chain 2 and turn. The next one, double crochet, half double crochet, and this is the last row before we start doing our third loop rows. Oops, that give us that nice lined pattern. Half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, okay, so that last row should have ended with you having your right side facing you and your 2 sections of double crochet, single crochet should line up in size comparably. And we're going to finish off. And we're going to do one last section like this on top of these rows here to finish out our design. So we're going to attach our yarn back at the beginning of the row, the first stitch. Chain 1, half double crochet in the 3rd loop. And do that in each stitch across the entire row. Half double crochet in the 3rd loop only. So when you finish off this row, we're going to finish off again. And to get another couple rows of our lines here, we're going to do 2 more rows, finishing off and starting at the beginning of the row each time in this method with the half double crochet in the 3rd loop only. So we're going to attach, chain 1, half double crochet in the 3rd loop only, you're going to finish out this row this way, finish off, come back and repeat another row like it one more time and meet me back here. Okay, so when you finally finish out that last row, we're going to finish off one more time. And now, if you wanted an even wider scarf, you could continue to repeat this pattern till you got the width that you wanted. But this is where I stopped in the original pattern. And like I mentioned, the edges are not super pretty. And these, especially the side where we finished off, it tends to kind of want to undo itself. So I would, at this point, kind of give each one of these a tie down here so that they don't keep trying to get away from you. And then just decide what you want to do with your edges. I added fringe to my edges and just incorporated these tails into the fringe. You could weave in your ends if you don't want to hassle with that. Whatever sounds easier to you. Or if you want to try stitching down your edges, you could do that as well. Whatever gets the look that you want at the ends of your scarf. And that is the end of it. I hope you enjoyed it. There's a written pattern on my website if that will help you to follow along with all these repeats. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet. Thank you.